shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoDatDaily.com is your site. The WhoDatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. Number one sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies and the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game, party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, Who Dat Nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
No ball for you today, or you get to change it?
I hadn't even paid attention. That would be the flavor, though, probably.
Sean, could you talk about Marcus Davenport? Would you say he had a good day today?
Yeah, we'll look at the film. I thought defensively that we were just talking about the momentum and how that affects games and how there's typically flows to that. But regards to him, I'd want to make sure I watch the tape. Those guys did a good job, though.
Well, an evaluation of him so far from what you've seen in previous days?
Look, I see he's number one. He's healthy. He's active. I think he's having a good camp. We're still 1 week in, but he's doing a good job. He's very explosive, and I would say he's been a little bit more consistent. And so we just did our first, evening long kind of meeting on personnel the other night, and it's been positive with him.
Sean, when you talk about the ebbs and flows, offense to defense, you guys having better days, is it kind of some of those younger guys on defense kind of figuring out what to do?
Yeah, the main message was, in the course of these games in the regular season you play, there's always that pendulum that swings with momentum, and you're trying as best you can to keep it when you have it, as long as you can, capitalize on it. And when you don't, that ability to correct, to get it back, to slow down, what they're doing well. And but it happens in almost every game you play. Rarely are you in a game where you don't see a couple different momentum swings, and you got to work on that. And today was one of those days. I just felt offensively, there was a period in practice where we needed to auto-correct a little quicker.
Sean, when you're evaluating quarterbacks, how important is it just to evaluate where the ball is going as opposed to maybe the execution of the pass? Is that?
I think that's important. Where it's going, and then, is it effective? It's easy for me to say, hey, lead your team and find ways to score. It's an imperfect game at times, and so you're working with the progression, where their eyes are, the protections, all of those things. Ultimately, how efficient you can do that, how effective you can do that. But where it's going at times is really the decision column in the grade. Do you like the decision?
Grade on it.
Yeah. Every throw has got a decision grade. And there's different type reads. There's some reads that fall in the line of a progression read. There's some reads that are, here or here based on coverage. But that gets evaluated with every throw.
And is there an evaluation in that evaluation? if somebody's open and they're not seeing it? Or is that a...
Well, look, there's times if the progression takes them A, B, and C, C's open, we throw it to A, who's open. Not maybe as much, then,
Yeah, I got you.
you know, that's fine. Within the progression, if we pass one that's open, then it's minus. You know, number 2 on a basic cross is coming open and you're too quick off of it. That's kind of an easy way to describe it, though. But that element or column exists with each decision on a pass play.
McCoy said the other day when he was talking about the cadence and in the huddle, he said their cadence is pretty similar, but he said how they operate in the huddle. He said Jameis is a little bit more fun-loving and joyful and kind of makes them smile, and Taysom's a little bit more serious. Is it just kind of their personality, or do you have a
I think so. No, I think the last thing we want to do is like change who they are, their personality. Drew was a certain personality. Jameis, he's wired a certain way, no different than Taysom. So there's been no formula for what you have to have. The hard work is necessary. The attention to detail is necessary. But, you know, our league has seen a history of all sorts of personalities at that position. And I think the first mistake would be trying to be someone other than yourself.
Like Bobby Abe.
We knew his personality. We knew his personality.
I was probably more like James.
Huh?
I don't want to be presumptuous, but with the video of number 2s going through make that way into the team meeting, going through the fumble.
So I didn't see it, but my assistant Kevin did, and that's probably in a file somewhere. He showed it to me, so it wasn't. It's certainly not gonna make the manufacturer of gauntlets file.
That's Coach Payton breaking down his thoughts on day 7. Big ups to the great Saint Think Tank. Much love to the great Saint Think Tank. I appreciate y'all being in the live stream tonight. Sorry, fam, I'm coming at you a little later than I usually would. I had a little fun today with Big Lona on that NFC roundtable, which was very fun, man. I appreciate meeting the Tampa Bay guys and the Carolina guys as well. Had a lot of fun on that round table. So I invite the family members who didn't see the NFC South round table to feel free to go to the community section and look it up. It's in the top posting in the community section of the platform's page, our YouTube page, where you can see the entire summation of the show. And we had some fun, man. It was pretty fun meeting those guys for the first time. So like I've been welcome everybody in. Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q, the host, and you're the Who Dat Nation, the Black and Gold Nation, the great Saint Think Tank. And I salute you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your Thursday with the Coma, baby. Who Dat to you and the rest of the fam. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to get into my accolades. I'd like to give a shout out to Jonathan Norbert Sr., who's following us via Facebook. Much love to the family members. Please feel free to hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and hit the hell out that bell as well. So in the chat, we're going to talk and give a big who dat to Brian Pearson, who dat to you. Last St. Tyrese, who dat to you. Robert Clark, who dat to you. Tim Dunn, who dat to you. Gabriel Thomas, who dat to you. Kenny Sutton, who that to you? Edward Green, who that to you? Akula McGee, who that to you? What's up, Brother Vine, who that to you? Big ups to Darley Snurling in the building. What's up, Darley? Who that to you, fam? KT in the building. What's up, Brother KT, the Southern gent? Pickett and Flickett is in the building. Who that to you? What's up, Brother Man? Who that to you, fam? Appreciate you. All righty, jamming. He liked the song. All right, appreciate you. Pelicans Nola, who that to you as well. What's up, fam? Mr. Pop 3000 said, let's go, Q. Okay, it's coming, bro. I've been a little behind. I've been gathering some information for the latest episode of On Q with Big Q. That'll be coming out. I promise you it'll be a Sunday edition. What I've been trying to work on is doing a live one where I can get some questions. But, you know, having like a 1 hour, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hour format where people can actually get on there, listen live as opposed to it being taped. But I'll be covering some heavy stuff on there. And sometimes, you know, it's tough to kind of do it without them having issues with it. So I'm trying to figure that out. So I'll let you guys know how we'll roll that. But it's coming out real soon, bro, and I got some heavy information for you. All right, so with that being said, let's keep it rolling. What's up, Ramsey? Aloha to you, my fam. Appreciate Ramsey in the building all the way out in Paradise, Hawaii. Much love to you, brother Ramsey. All right, Troy Thompson. What's up, Troy? Who that to you as well, brother Jerry Paul Jr. Who that to you? JT. Who that to you? And much love to you, my friend. Hope you and the fam are doing well. What's up, Chopper City? Who that to you, fam? As well, Shannon. What's up, Shannon? Who that to you, fam? Appreciate you being here as well. Adrian in the building. What's up, Queen? And big ups to all the Sports Coma Queens. You know I got to give a shout out to the ladies, man. Much love to the ladies. All right, and the rest of the family members. KT said, Q, did you see the lock? Yeah, I seen that the other night. Yeah, that was that was fun. Seeing that old Locks and Dipset. I like both of them dudes back in the day, man. I you know, listening to Cam. You know, that's DC, one of his favorite guys. DC loves Cam, man. You know, that's one of his favorite guys. All right, Zandale. What's up, Zandale? Who that to you? Saints 01, who that to you, fam? Appreciate you being here. Ramsey Wars, who that to you, fam? I said, enjoyed you on the MC Roundtable representing the Black and Gold. Yeah, fam. You know, it was fun talking to those guys, man. It was no animosity. It was all love and respect, you know. And then, of course, they took a few shots and jabs, you know. But, you know, I just, you know, you just got to hit them with that truth, man, you know. And I appreciate each one of those guys. They were fun, man. They were terrific. Each of them was a wealth of information knowing their squad. Great personality. Very passionate, man. And I enjoyed that, man, as well. All right. And you'll be seeing some more of those roundtables, too, coming up soon, man. We're going to be, you know, getting with the Tampa Bay guys. And they said I was the first nice Saint fan they ever met. I was like, huh? Who y'all been talking to? We're all good like this. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? All right, Tragic 504, who that to you? Big Sean, what's up, fam? How you doing, Big Sean? Big Low, what's up, brother Low? Who that to you, man? All right, big ups to my dog, Big Low, man, who put the whole shindig together. Much love, Big Low. Trail Hatch, who that to you? Dewan, what's up, fam? Who that to you as well? Brother Derek, what's up, brother Derek? Who that to you? Swag Out Entertainment's in the building. Who that to you? Chris Rooks, what's up, brother Chris? Who that to you as well? All right, big ups to the rest of the Great Saint Think Tank, brother Trail. What's up? Jamal in the building as well. What's up, fam? 504 Cole, who that to you as well? Much love to the fam and everybody else. Kai, what's up, Kai? The Great 84 is in the building as well. So big ups to the fam. I appreciate each and every last one of you guys for being here. If you didn't hear your name, give me a who that, and I give you a who that back, baby. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cover some news. I'm not gonna hold y'all tonight. Obviously, family, because tomorrow we'll do the live stream that'll go a couple hours for the family members to chime in with their thoughts and through this long week of same content that we covered all the way. You have an opportunity as well tomorrow to chime in. So I'm not gonna hold you guys for very long tonight. What's up, Jonathan? Who that to you, man? All right, much love to you too, my friend. Appreciate you. Trey Joseph, what's up, Trey? Big ups to you as well, fam. So with that being said, we just played Coach Payton. What I want to do next, family, is I'm gonna play an interview from ESPN, Swagoo, and a few other people talk about the Saints quarterback battle between Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill. What's up, Lori, baby? Who that to you? Sports Coma Queen, one of the queens in the building, bro. What's up, brother Devin, as well? Who that to y'all? Appreciate y'all chiming in. Please hit the like button, fam. Also, feel free to share the link in the social media. It also helps us out as well. So with that being said, I'm going to play next for the family members. Swagoo's take on Kellerman's on the panel as well. And some other guy I don't even recognize is on the panel. And they're talking about the Saints and Winston, Jameis Winston, you know, what they think about it. We'll listen in and see. And Jamal says, come on. All right. So I'm going to play that. And then I'm going to the observations for day 7, family. We're going to cover 3 other articles. And then I'm going to say I do. And I'll see you guys on Friday. So, all right. So I know my Pelicans know. So with that further ado, family, let me get on up in here and let me get this started. And we're going to play this piece from ESPN. If you can stand it, we're going to play a little bit of this. And here
I'm not sure what
y'all
Jameis
put one in
will
chat
be
if y'all can hear that.
when he's back. I'm not sure what Jameis will be when he's back as a starter. I do believe he'll be the starter for the New Orleans Saints. But I know because of what's going on with Michael Thomas and because of what they lack from an offensive standpoint on the outside,
Who that,
I think
Sylvian?
I think the Saints are better suited to have Taysom in his original role. If you put him under center, you limit what you do from an offensive standpoint, flexibility-wise. And I would much prefer have him and Alvin Kamara be an issue for a defense as opposed to having him at quarterback and you trying to create some semblance of a QB run game. And let me say this as well. You put Taysom Hill as quarterback at the starting quarterback for the Saints, and you asking him to consistently throw the football, that's not where he's better suited at. If you're trying to make this a similar offense to what the Baltimore Ravens are, then I could see an argument for that if you want to implement that type of scheme. But that ain't what Sean Payton doing. Sean Payton wants an offense that can dink and dunk and be explosive when need be. And I think Jameis is better suited in order to be the quarterback. But more importantly, with this argument about QB1, for me, is that you need, because of Michael Thomas, Taysom Hill to be a Swiss Army knife as opposed to being the starting quarterback and you just lining him up in one spot every down.
Okay, let's pause it right there. Swagoo has been coming around, family, to our side of things, to be honest with you, and we're going to play the rest of it. It's only like about 7 minutes long, and that's Swagoo's take on it, and he's been slowly but surely coming along to the black and door. A lot of his commentary has been watch out for the Saints, this, that, and the third. So we're reaching them to a degree as to Who Dat Nation to understand that you don't doubt the Saints as long as they got offensive weapons, and that's why I was telling the guys in the roundtable tonight about the Saints. Just because you don't recognize the names over there on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball, don't think for a second that you're going to have a slight deviation from success here. You know, he said dink and dunk offense with Jameis Winston. Do you guys agree upon that? Do you think Coach Payton has brought Jameis in here to dink and dunk, or the team all to get vertical? Jameis Winston's best attribute as a quarterback is his accurate deep ball throw. That is the thing. And of course, you look at the wide receivers that Coach Payton has assembled. When you talk about guys like J.J. McCleskey, and on the back end of the wide receiver depth chart, Aesop Winston Jr., and of course, you move a little further up to guys like Traquan Smith, Deontay Harris, and others, Marquez Callaway, who can stretch the defense, the opposing defenses. Coach Payton has every mindset to get vertical this year. But whether it's Taysom or Jameis, these guys can both throw the deep ball. Jameis a little bit more accurate than Taysom, but Taysom got a hell of an arm on him too. You just got to work on his accuracy. But Jameis Winston's best attribute is the deep ball throw. Now, of course, checking things down is common, especially when you got a guy like Alvin Kamara lurking around the line of scrimmage. But there's other people. And that's what things when you talk about people that don't know about the squad, because you know that what Alvin Kamara can do. The damn whole NFL knows what Alvin Kamara could do. But that's not the game. The game is who else can get involved and who else that you don't know about that you gonna know about when we start putting this pain on your ass. What you go, you know what I'm saying? Because like I've been telling them, they didn't know who Mike Thomas was. Mike Thomas didn't have much of a name. When Mike Thomas was at Ohio State, and he did good at Ohio State, but he wasn't no star. He didn't become the $100 million man and can't guard Mike until he became a functional and successful person or football player in the Saints offense. When he studied and took tutorship from Drew Brees, learned his cues of how to work out, first man in practice, last one to leave. That's when he elevated his game to elite levels, and then he was ultimately able to secure a $100 million contract as being known as the slant man. But even though you're the slant man, that was good enough for you to be double teams consistently and sometimes triple teams to be a $100 million man. These are facts, just stating a fact. And of course, like I said, they didn't know who Mike Thomas was. He was Keyshawn Johnson's nephew. Y'all know it. That's almost like saying when Ray J first stepped on the scene before the whole Kim Kardashian situation occurred, he was known as Brandy's brother. Remember that? You ain't calling him Brandy brother no more. Why? Because he's accomplished things since then to gain a name for himself. You know, people give a damn to want to know who he is now because of his successes or what he did to accomplish himself. It's the same thing here. Who among you knew who Alvin Kamara was and knew what Alvin Kamara was going to be? He was a third-round running back the Saints picked up out of the University of Tennessee. Now, everybody in the NFL knew Alvin Kamara. He's arguably one of the best backs in the NFL. Now, what's the key to both of those guys? Hard work ethics, consistency, and success in the black and gold building has led to this. The tutorship, them guys worked their asses off to study and become elite. And that was the flaw. You know, as powerful as the mind is, it's and I don't like to look at limitations, but it depends on where you are in your growth, in terms of your growth cycle, where you are. You know, no matter how talented you are, if you got barren land there, you're not going to be able to grow anything in that land. Like going to the middle of the desert talking about, yeah, I'm going to grow some really lush stuff to occur in the desert. Well, there got to be some factors there in that environment for you to become successful. Like, they got to be fertile land. They got to be water. They got to be the water source there so the seeds can, you get what I'm getting at? And that's what the Saints have there, a fertile environment for success. And of course, another thing is the leadership angle. Drew Brees leaves, and then does that the leadership of the team leave with him? Absolutely not. There are many. Remember when Drew went down, who stepped up to become the leader and was doing all the chants? Demario Davis. That's what I'm talking about. So there's many different attributes that it takes to be a dominant, successful team over time. And I'm merely stating this because people are overlooking guys that could have the same growth potential as a Kamara or Mike Thomas or even a Deontay Harris, who came out of Assumption College. Nobody knew who Deontay Harris was, and he became a Pro Bowler in the black and gold building. You know? And then we talk about, right, LaJardan Humphrey as well, Trey. And there's many other players that we have that are ready to step up and show you what they got. You just got to give them the opportunity to do it. So, you know, I don't agree with the dink and dunk stuff. This is not going to be the Drew Brees offense. This is a whole nother offense where they're going to get vertical. And you're going to have some short and intermediate stuff, no doubt about it, because we wouldn't be a balanced offense if we didn't do that. But make no bones about it. The Saints are going to get vertical. They're going to throw the ball down the field, and that's how it's going to be. And the rest of the people better get ready for it, because that's how it is. You don't get all these speedy people around here just to keep them 20 yards or 30 yards downfield. It's not going to happen. So anyway, let's finish up this interview, fam, and then we'll get into the story on Swagoo. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about Swagoo's commentary. He's coming around.
Believe it or not, I think Taysom Hill should be the starting quarterback, at least to start the season.
Sean
Payton has been talking for a long time now about his belief in Taysom Hill, and he'll tell you that on the record and off the record. Sean Payton believes he can be a quarterback in the league. And even if you're like, come on, coach, really? You're not just, there's no ulterior motive. He believes it. And I think Taysom Hill, for so long, I've had arguments with NFL players, current and especially past players, who, when Taysom Hill, and this is going back a couple years, well, he's a gadget player. You're kind of burning a roster spot on Taysom Hill. And sometimes guys who are really versatile can kind of get hit with that rep, right? A utility guy. He's a jack of all trades, a master of none. Why? Because he can throw, he can really run, and he can catch. Therefore, he's a gadget player that you don't value. Now, we haven't seen a huge sample size of him as quarterback. And obviously, you're right, Marcus, they're going to have to look more like the Baltimore Ravens than they have. This is not a guy who's going to throw for 350 yards. You don't figure he's going to use his legs. But I don't see why he can't do that. You know, if you look at his, like, does he, you talk about dink and dunk, yes. Does he have explosive plays in his arm? Probably not. Certainly not as much as Jameis, but he probably not going to turn the ball over as much as Jameis in either. And as a dual threat quarterback, which Jameis is not, he can give you different looks. I'm all for him at least starting the season. Neither one of these guys is going to strike fear into the NFL, but at least starting the season with Taysom Hill.
All right, first of all, Kellerman I think Kellerman sometimes be just saying shit for shock value. I really do. I mean, first of all, Jameis Winston is a dual threat quarterback. Jameis Winston is not a statue quarterback that stands in the pocket. He will take off on you. He's an athletic guy. You know, he can't stand in the pocket. He's 6'4". He's tall. He'll stand in that pocket and deliver that ball. But he's also intelligent enough to leak out and make things happen. So, I mean, I don't agree with his assumption that he's a pocket passer or a guy that's relatively not a guy that's not going to take off on you. He will. And of course, the assumption is once again, Jameis Winston is going to throw a bunch of interceptions. You know, the Buck family members we were talking to in the roundtable were making mention of they watched him do that for years. And I was just making them aware that it's different here. You guys went through, they remind me 13 years of not making the playoffs. My goodness. You know, that is absolutely horrible. You know, and I wouldn't wish that on my worst rivals, that you go through 13 years without making any play. But then again, the Saints were responsible for smashing them down in many of those games, you know. But I digress. The reality is Taysom Hill, no knock on Taysom. Taysom has an uphill battle to become the starting quarterback of the Saints. You know, if it's really close, do Sean Payton say we're going to go with Taysom? I say he goes with the experience. He's going to go with Winston because Coach Payton is going to rely a bit on the experience. He will. He's going to rely on that experience. I'm just telling you. But Jameis Winston will play. It's not like if Jameis doesn't win the starting job, Taysom doesn't win the starting job, that he will not play the quarterback position. He becomes then even more important to the Saints offense, because I agree that part about Kellerman, that eventually the Saints will use Taysom in the wide receiver room. And we said that before. That's no big surprise that, that they're going to use him in different ways. That's how he made his money. Taysom Hill did not come to the black and gold organization and make this big money as a quarterback. They gave him that money because he was good at several different things, including wide receiver, running back, tight end, and special teams. And you are sadly mistaken if you think Sean Payton is not going to use Taysom Hill in that regard. If it's a too close to call battle of the quarterback experience, you got a guy with 70+ starts versus a guy with 4. Who you gonna lean on? You're gonna lean on that veteran. You will. And of course, like I said, Taysom still would play. He will play some of that quarterback position. And hopefully we will balance his play sheet where he can be able to run and throw the ball, so Coach Payton gets that dual threat quarterback system. Not exactly balanced, you know what I'm saying? 60-70 Jameis versus 30-something out for Taysom in that offense. But Taysom still gets out there in different ways. So like I said, but Kellerman, a lot of stuff Max Kellerman said, I think he'd be trolling people and just be saying that for shock value. But once again, Kellerman's value is not as a basketball or football guy. Kellerman is a boxing guy. And when he talks boxing, he knows what the hell he's talking about, because I'm a boxing man. And I'll tell you what, he knows boxing. He does know boxing really well. But outside of anything else, I think it's mostly he trolling the shock value. He's a funny dude. Let's get to this last dude. I don't even know who this dude is. If whoever this guy is, y'all put him in the chat, because I don't know who the hell he is. He looked bored sitting up there.
Max, I have to disagree with you, and I'm going to have to go with Marcus. Listen, when you look at this New Orleans Saints football team, Michael Thomas is one of their best players, right? He's going to benefit more from Jameis Winston. When you look last year when Taysom Hill came into that role, you want to know who diminished a little bit? Alvin Kamara. The New Orleans Saints cannot afford for Alvin Kamara to diminish because of Taysom Hill being your quarterback. I tell you one thing, that's a known fact. And Swagger, you know this being a defensive player. It's hard as hell being a defensive coordinator trying to put together a defensive plan when you know you have a QB1 in Jameis Winston, but then you have a Swiss Army knife in Taysom Hill that you have to prepare for because the multiple different roles he has to play in. Now he can play on special teams and be the punt protector like you can. So if you want to go for it on 4th and 1 and 4th and 2, now you can. Taysom Hill is not going to be in those roles if he's your QB1 because you don't want to risk him getting hurt. So for me, it's a no-brainer. You have to go with Jameis Winston. And I know he was a part of the 30-30 club, but I think Jameis really benefited from sitting behind Drew Brees and understanding. And I always use this analogy right here, guys.
Absolutely.
And I use it I use it when I talk about Tom Brady and Teddy Bridgewater. It's like when you go to the bank. You never get tired of making deposits. So if you got to hit that check down 2 or 3 times and throw that football away, continue to make those little deposits because you're in the pluses and never the minuses.
This is a legitimate question because I think that is a good argument, and it's not like either of these guys, if I was a Saints fan, I'd be psyched to be my quarterback heading into the season. And if Jameis can just cut down on the interceptions, and he could be, instead of 30-30, 25 and 15 even, that'd be a big improvement. But
Kellerman, first and foremost, bro, that was 1 year that Jameis threw 30 interceptions, but you will never admit to the fact that he threw 5109 to lead the NFL that year and 33 touchdowns versus the 30 interceptions. They just put that on his. That's the only time he's ever done that. But if he can stop throwing all of the interceptions, which your homeboy and football god they all worship, they got a little figurine on him and Skip Skeletor, Bayless, and the rest of these nincompoops have on their little coffee tables next to their beds that they roll over and pray to 3 times a day and Tom the Holy Brady. We talk about this all the time here, man. It's the fact that Tom Brady was on pace to throw over 20 interceptions in Bruce Arians' system. That's why he was bucking and having issues with Bruce Arians fussing with him about the offense. Of course, Tom Brady won out because he has some general manager ability and he could change that playbook. That was one of the caveats that he accepted when he went there. So, I mean, come on. Even Tom Brady knew that Bruce Arians' system is flawed. It's flawed. So Jameis was the guy. And of course, if you go back and look at the 30-30 season, the 30 interceptions, a lot of those were not all of them was Jameis Winston's fault. They had ones that popped up off of sorry-ass wide receivers' fingertips into hands. I mean, it was some weird stuff because they were putting the ball in the air a lot. But that was one time that occurred. We had Drew 20 interceptions in the season. Nobody never talks about that. That's a somber note. But the reality, like I told the family members on the round table, Jameis Winston is different here. Why? Because Jameis Winston, we didn't bring Jameis Winston down here to save the Saints. He is not the savior of the black and gold team. He came to the Saints to be saved. And I was trying to admit, it's a big difference when you come here to be saved versus when you are the savior. Nobody can tell you nothing when your head up in the clouds like Jameis was coming straight out of college into the pros, #1 overall pick. He came here and was humbled by the whole process. He decided to come here and was paid a measly $1 million to sit, NFL standard-wise, to sit behind Drew Brees and Taysom Hill for that entire year. He was a third-string quarterback on this team, playing behind a guy with 4 games of NFL experience. That was a humbling process. And, of course, the mentorship, the 1-year mentorship of Drew Brees is we went to QB University with Drew Brees and Sean Payton. Come on, man. Coach Payton, if anything you know about Coach Payton is that he can run the hell out of the offense. That when it's all said and done, his offense is going to be put up there with some of the best in pro football. Come on, man. They got guys right now getting freaking jobs because of Sean Payton's offense. The guy that's with Carolina, Joe Brady, who's one of my favorites, assistants who left from New Orleans to go to LSU that had that terrific run several years ago when we demolished college football. Then he took the job with Carolina to bring Sean Payton's system out there to Carolina. He ain't even going with the full plan, just a brief idea. He took a small piece of it and had massive success. Now he's an offensive coordinator. So like I said, we are the bee's knees, so to speak, to use an old adage, about when it comes down to this offensive stuff. We'll cook you, and we're going to cook you again. Now, the problem a lot of times because we wasn't balanced enough when we didn't know to go to the running game more. But my goodness, man, that's why we are the Black and Gold family members talking about this stuff. And Max Kellerman, stick to boxing, my friend.
Anything's an improvement.
Yeah, right. But this is a legitimate question. Why do you guys think Sean Payton has consistently said Taysom Hill both on and off the record, and he's a guy who's seen these guys up close? Why do you think Coach keeps saying Taysom Hill?
Max,
maybe
listen,
Coach have had maybe he has too many drinks.
Sorry, Harry?
Look, to answer your question,
It's
No,
might be funnier than the Winston video.
Harry say he had too many drinks. Listen, let me take this one. This is a part of this is coaching, Max. This is a part of keeping Taysom Hill engaged. This is a part of giving him an opportunity to see if he can play QB. And he had that opportunity last year. I think the biggest, listen, and it's going to sound terrible, and it's the biggest indictment on Taysom Hill, okay, when it comes to talking about quarterback. Remember, we all know Taysom Hill is an elite football player in the way that he's being used. But when the biggest indictment on Taysom Hill is that he did not come into this season the clear-cut starter after being the only guy to play last year when Drew Brees was out, right? We all understand how this QB thing works. If you're not QB1 and you've had an opportunity to show that you could be against a guy that didn't play, I think Jameis threw for 72 total yards last year. Taysom started 4 games, I believe, or 5, And then you come into camp and the coach is like, look, I love Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill can play quarterback, but I ain't about to name him QB1, even though he's the guy that I went with last season. And when Teddy Bridgewater, who Sean Payton thought was a more competent quarterback, which he was, is the reason he started those 5 games.
Yes, but we're not talking about Bridgewater.
To Taysom Hill.
I agree. If we're talking about Teddy Bridgewater, we're not talking about him.
Max, follow my point. All right? Taysom Hill last year started 4 games when Drew Brees was out.
And completed over 70% of his passes. Yeah.
Max, he's not the clear QB1.
This is true. And he's not but the reality at the end of the day is they're asking, what was the difference in the game plan? Well, Coach Payton had to see what Taysom Hill was working with. After all, Coach Payton anointed him and saying that he's not like Steve Young, that he is Steve Young. It would have been kind of really cheeky if Coach Payton didn't give Taysom Hill an opportunity to run the offense to see what he was working with. So, I mean, you see in the 4 games, last season, that Coach Payton seen 4 chances. Now, he beat Atlanta twice and beat Denver. It was not a really good look. Lost to Philadelphia. We could have won that game. But, the reality is Coach Payton had to see what he had in Taysom Hill. Could he operate and run the offense in money time? And he came in as got his first stop. They opened up the training camp with him operating first. And since then, they've been flip-flopping back and forth. But the reality is still in all. And T-Cell, big ups to you. Appreciate you. Joe Gidry. What's up, Joe? What's up, Atron? What's up, fam? Jasper and the rest of the family members, Okapali, Inevitable. And what's up, Muhammad Ali? All right. What's up, fam? All right. T-Cell asks, if Taysom does not start, will he deny the switch role only to be a pure backup? No, I don't think so. Taysom Hill, remember, like I said earlier, Taysom Hill made his money in with the Saints, not by being a quarterback, but by being an everything guy. You know what I'm saying? Running back, wide receiver, tight end. And not just he did it and had an impact. It was a difference. Like, he was running the ball. Besides the kooky fumbles and all the terrible fumbling he was doing, he was impactful. Had we used Taysom Hill in the Minnesota, not the Minnesota Miracle game, but the Minnesota playoffs game of a couple of years ago, we would have died. If you'd have given him the ball more, I think he would have brought the Saints back and we would have won that game, because he was probably one of the only guys that had a rhythm in that game, but we went away from him. But I think he is impactful. He is a playmaker. He played the wide receiver position so well that he had guys like Traquan Smith stealing their reps. He did it with the tight ends. He did it with running backs not named Alvin Kamara. And when you put Taysom Hill on the field, he is a force. We know this. You put Taysom Hill as a special teams guy, he was blocking punts when they had guys out there who ain't never blocked a punt, and that's all they ever did was play special teams. So he was making an impact or having an impact no matter where he went. And he would have to be exposed to only small increments of what you was teaching. Like, he was 25% in this room, in the wide receiver room, 25% in the running back room, 25% in the tight end room, 25% in the special teams room, you see? And he needed only 25% of whatever they was teaching them in the room, 100%, to have an impact. Now, that's special. That's why he got paid the big dough. But at the end of the day, if he loses to Jameis Winston, in my opinion, I think he will, then what occurs is he will merely go back into that role. He will not tell Coach Payton, no, I ain't going to go do that, coach, because no, that's not his character. He wants to help the team win, and he wants to get on the field any way he can. So, but the reality, if he does lose the job to Jameis, then he will be still playing as a quarterback, among other things. So, I mean, this is just what it is. Coach Payton is not going to delegate or relegate Taysom Hill to the bench just to be a backup. That's absolutely not what it's going to be. That's why the third quarterback position, battle is so important, because that guy will actually be the second quarterback if you think about it, because Taysom will be doing a lot of the stuff, the utility stuff that has an impact, especially with Mike out. With him, Deontay Harris is going to be out for 2 weeks because of the DUI. Mike's out for 7-8 weeks. I said 9-10 weeks. You know what I'm saying? You've been walking on that thing. You're going to need a little time. And then you got guys missing there. Traquan Smith hadn't come back yet. So you got Ty Montgomery who had to slide out from the running back to play wide receiver. You don't think Taysom's going to have a say-so in there? They forget about that. That's we had that round table. They wasn't thinking about that. See, you only have a certain amount of time to game plan for guys. And if I got playmakers and you have to game plan for 2 quarterbacks, man, listen, that is very difficult to do within the time frame of a week. And that's what Coach Payton's doing. Coach Payton is about making it very hard for the opposition to prepare for the black and gold Saints. I mean, and this is what it is. And all he needs is balance that playbook, and they can't stop the Saints, man. I'm telling you. And they saying Drew Brees is not here. Drew's not here, but the team is a champion-minded team with leaders in place that's at that mentality or level of Drew. All of like the Cams and the DeMarios, the overall expertise of the level of the leadership of the team, the championship mentality did not drop when Drew left. It still maintained itself because there's several other really high impact, high character, championship successful minded players and coaches that are on this team that will still put in the success level. Now, Drew Brees is not there. That's a loss because he meant a lot. But the Saints, it's not a loss that the Saints can't not. It will stop them to the point where they can't be successful. I do not buy that. So these are guys just asking questions. What's up, Matthew? Big ups to you, bro. Big Sean, what's happening? T Dirty, what's up, brother? Big ups to you. Charles, what's up, Charles? Charles Faswell. Much love to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all being here. All right, so like I said, man, that's just a part of it. And I just wanted to share that piece of the interview with it because we got to give Marcus Spears some credit. Marcus Spears has been, at first he was talking that smack, but he's coming around to the black and gold way of thinking. And a lot of people poo-poo and talk mess about the Saints, but you can never discount the Saints. You never can. You never can discount the Saints. You never. No, absolutely never. As long as they got Alvin Kamara, Mike Thomas, a running attack, and a defense, and the defense is something that nobody's talking about. Because they're looking at you losing David Onyemata, and they're not understanding that guys are stepping up and playing well. Bronson is stepping up. Dalton is stepping up. You got other young players that's saying, listen, this is my opportunity, which shouldn't be a surprise to the black and gold nation because that's all we do is create underdogs that step up and make a name for themselves. If you're an undrafted guy who want to play and you could play, you will find a spot with the Saints. Ask Deontay Harris, ask JT Gray, ask all these other guys that were undrafted guys that nobody gave a rat's patootie about, and they're on the team playing right now. Ask them about opportunity. Ask the Malcolm Roaches. Ask the Shy Tuttles. Ask those guys about it. You know, they got an opportunity to come on this team and make a living for themselves and make an impact in the NFL. So, I mean, we are the best at that. You know what I'm saying? That needs to be said. All right, fam. So let's move on. Let's get into some of this training camp news. I just wanted to drop that on the family members right quick. Please feel free to hit upon the like button, family, as we moving this thing along. Saints Day, 7 observations. Defense has plenty of highlights on day, featuring more veterans rest. And, of course, Coach Payton knows how to rest his veterans. This is Miami. Plenty of New Orleans Saints fans were in the stands for Thursday's practice session, and the weather was about the best the team has had so far in camp. All right, fans will be back in the Sports Performance Center for Friday and Saturday's practice as long as the weather holds up. For outdoor practice observations from the 7th day of training camp, of course, I'll be in the building on Saturday. I'll be in the morning practice. Participation. Plenty of participation notes Thursday. Linebacker Kwon Alexander was present, but not participating in that practice. Without Alexander on the team, the Saints waived defensive lineman Kendall Donaldson. Remember, we picked him up from off the squad from Green Bay. He had experience there. But with Kwon Alexander coming back, the Saints put Kendall Donaldson in the street. Receiver Traquan Smith was absent for the second straight day after leaving Tuesday's practice with an apparent injury. Neither tight end Nick Vannett nor Ethan Wolf were spotted at practice, though Wolf left Wednesday's practice with an injury. Receiver Deontay Harris returned after a one-day absence, and cornerback Grant Haley was present, after he missed the last 6 practices for a personal matter. Several players that appeared to be or have a scheduled rest day was left tackle Teron Armstead, left guard Andrews Pete, running back Alvin Kamara, defensive end Cam Jordan, cornerback Marshawn Daddy Lattimore, and they were present at first but went inside the facility after the stretching period was over. Now, quarterback roundup. Wasn't a great day at quarterback for anyone. Quarterback Taysom Hill took snaps with the 1s Thursday, and quarterback Jameis Winston with the 2s. That was flipped from Wednesday, which appears to be the standard operating procedure now that the Saints are through the first week of camp. Quarterback Trevor Siemian was with the 3s, and rookie Ian Book was with the 4s. Hill was 8 of 13 with an interception, which was Demario Davis during team drills And Winston was 11 of 16 in full team drills. Not for nothing, but a solid chunk of those completions were to running backs. Okay, let's keep it moving. Davis had that interception off of Hill during the first team period. Hill was trying to find receiver Marquez Callaway through a tight window, and cornerback, get this, Patrick Robinson was in coverage. He tipped the pass back into the air, which allowed Davis to come down with it. Now Hill nearly threw another pick in a different full team session, but Callaway came away with the equivalent of a pass breakup on a would-be interception. The pass itself was underthrown, and safety C.D. Deuce, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, was in a prime position to make a play on the ball, but Callaway made the heads-up play. Now later on in practice, linebacker Zach Bowen nearly had a pick six off of Winston. Winston rolled out and attempted to cross-body throw. Oh, he tried to throw back across the field. Come on, you can't do that, James. That looked like a miscue from the start, but Bowen, standing in the middle of the field, was right there for the misfired pass, but he couldn't come up with it. Zach Bowen, you got to make them plays, dude. You got to catch them when they come to you like that. Several players came away with would-be sacks, too. Marcus Davenport had a hell of a practice, man. But, of course, he was beating James Hurst, who's not good at pass rush, speed rushers anyway. Defense Marcus Davenport burst through the offensive line at least 3 times for close call sacks. It's hard to decipher what would actually be a sack since defenders can't tackle quarterbacks, but he made his presence felt in the pocket Thursday. One was in the second team period, then later on in practice, he had 2 almost back-to-back sacks on Hill, running right through second team left tackle James Hurst. Both times Hurst was taking reps with the ones while Armstead had an apparent DRS. That is the thing we talked about when we call James Hurst. Now, we knew this before. James Hurst is a hell of a run blocking offensive lineman. When it comes to like speed rushers, he's going to struggle because he's slow-footed. You know, this ain't nothing new. We always knew that about James Hurst when he came in here. He can play different positions, left tackle, left guard position. But when it comes to like speed rushers, like athletic rushers, like a Davenport or somebody like that, he struggles. You're going to have to give him some help. Bond had at least one on Winston. Former UL defensive lineman Chris Ringo, who was rotating with the ones during team drills, had at least 1 sack, 2 on book. Defensive end Tanu Passanio came off the edge in the second to last team period to sack Hill. Now, punt notes. 1 week into training camp and 1 position battle appears like there's a leader in the clubhouse. Second-year punter Blake Gillikin had a field day punting the ball. Had one punt that felt like it was never going to come down. We knew this about Gillikin. He can punt. We talked to when Coach Rizzi brought him on, and assistant coach Phil, I want to say Galliano, is his assistant special teams coach, brought this kid in from Penn State. He was mentored by Tommy Morstead for that past year and almost took Morstead's job coming into the start of the season when the Saints last year had 2 active punters, and people were like, what the hell? And I was like, well, yeah, Blake Gillikin's there. But then ultimately Blake Gillikin came down with a weird injury that sidelined him for the whole year. Wink, wink. Morstead went on to kick up and down that year. But obviously, we knew Tommy was on the way out, but Blake Gillikin is a guy to watch out for. Now, Gillikin has shown off his consistency every time he's had reps, and that held true for the session Thursday, too. He can punt, man. He got a hell of a leg on him, and he's not bad accurate-wise. So Blake Gillikin might be the replacement for Tommy Morstead, man. He keep doing what he's doing. He's going to beat Nolan Cooney. Numbers game with linebackers Kwon Alexander back in his number 58 jersey. Rookie linebacker Shaq Smith changed to number 46. So that's pretty cool by him to give him this 58. Up next, the Saints continue to practice at 9:30 a.m. on Friday. Fans will be allowed to spectate as long as the weather cooperates. There are only a handful of practice left. August the 6th, 7th, August the 20th, and the 21st. The next Saints day off will be Sunday. So with that being said, that's a few news notes and items right there on day 7 camp, family. Let's move on to our next article. New Orleans Saints seeing progress from rookie cornerback Paulson Adebo. And this is quote, I'm getting more and more comfortable as I'm learning the defense. So there it is. And this is written by JD, John DeSacia, NewOrleans.com. It wasn't just the fact that New Orleans rookie cornerback Paulson Adebo came up with an interception one-on-one drills. One of the most difficult drills for defensive backs because of the odds are tilted against them. Receiver can use the whole field. There's no pass rush. It's that Adebo, the team's 3rd round pick this year, in the last 3 or so training camp practices have been stuck to receivers, forcing incompletions, making life difficult for receivers, even when they're able to come up with the catches. And he's been looking pretty good in camp. The issue that first few days of camp was that Adebo was in position but not making the plays on the ball to jump lately, is that he totally reversed that trend. And that's what he does. And that's one of the things he talked about in the scouting report. Even if you study the film on Paulson Adebo, that he's a quick learner. Like, it's certain mistakes that he make that he has the ability to kind of not self-correct, but if it's pointed out by Coach Rashad or another coach, listen, you need to do this at the third, the guy does it, and he's a fast learner. He's very intelligent. That's something we knew about in dealing with his style of play. He says, quote, "I think every day I'm getting more and more comfortable as I'm learning the defense, and getting more comfortable with that, plays will kind of start happening quickly," Adebo said. "Just trying to trust my technique, whatever route I'm getting, trying to make sure I play it to the best of my ability." Admittedly, Adebo need to shake off some rust, opting out of last season in Stanford due to the C-19 concerns, meaning he hasn't played since 2019. But the acclimation process athletically did not take long. The first day maybe, Adebo said, but now I'm back to it. Feels good. And this kid's only going to get better. He's going to only get better. And he was a good pick. So we're going to see exactly where he falls at. But his camp situation right now, I know it's very early. And we won't see him in some live game action, some of these preseason games, see how he matches up. But size, speed, intelligence, my goodness. Paulson Adebo is very intriguing. Let's go on to our final article, family. And, of course, we're going to cover the fact that the Saints re-signed linebacker Kwon Alexander and waived Kendall Donaldson and put him in the street. And, of course, this is the Saints announced that Thursday that they re-signed linebacker Kwon Alexander and waived Kendall Donaldson. They made it official. The announcements were made by you know who. Talk to Sean. You know that guy. Alexander, 6'1", 227, is a 6-year NFL veteran who was originally selected in the 4th round, 124th overall in the 2015 NFL draft out of LSU by Tampa Bay. Since entering the NFL, Alexander has started all 67 regular season games he's appeared in, recording 503 tackles, 355 of which were solo, 7 interceptions, 30 pass defense, 10 forced fumbles, and 4 fumble recoveries, as well as 3 solo stops and 1 pass defense, and in 3 2019 postseason contests for the 49ers. Now, as a rookie, Alexander was the PFWA All-Rookie selection, recording 93 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 interceptions, 9 pass defense, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery. And in 2016, he started all 16 games, posted a career-high 145 tackles, 108 solo, 3 sacks, 38-yard interception return for a touchdown, 7 pass defense, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery, baby. In 2017, he was selected to his first Pro Bowl, posting 97 stops, 3 interception returns for 70 yards, 4 pass defense, and 1 forced fumble. So Alexander signed with San Francisco as an unrestricted free agent, did his thing. And of course, ultimately, all of the rigmarole led him to getting traded to the black and gold. He was playing his butt off until ultimately he suffered that Christmas Day injury that ultimately was one of the messed up point of the game where we had a phenomenal game, but we did lose Kwon in that game. But the bright part is he is back. 1-year deal, up to $3 million. He's back with the black and gold. Coach Payton did say he's going to kind of move with him very slowly, which is not a bad philosophy. Because if you know, when you put Kwon Alexander in there last year, he just took right off. He was a hand-to-glove fit with the Saints defense. He just took off and just knew what he needed to do. He's a perfect complement to Demario Davis. He's healthy. We walk him slow up into that position. But my goodness, doesn't it feel good to have Kwon Alexander next to Demario Davis, despite all the stuff that's going on with the Saints defense? Kind of brings a calm a little bit over the defense overall when you recognize that you're being without David Onyemata for 6 games, Marshawn Lattimore for 1, 2, 3 games, depending on what the chump commissioner gives. And of course, you're dealing with other things, rookie linebackers. Well, one rookie linebacker and one guy that didn't play much in Zach Bowen, who did drop an interception today. You gotta catch that. So in the course of a few of the free agent moves that's going on, guys that left, guys that are, so it does bring a calm there. And that's one less thing the Black and Gold Nation has to be concerned about, is the fact that what happens with the linebackers. Well, Kwon's there. That brings a calming effect to the center of the Saints defense and to the Who Dat Nation, and especially to the great Saint think tank, who was asking me, Q, when is this going to happen? A word on the street, word on the street. Well, word on the street was right. And usually word on the street is right a lot of times. So I'm glad we have Kwon back on the team. So just to go over a quick summary, we talked about the Saints day 7 observations. Defense had plenty of highlights. We moved on to talk about Mr. Paulson Adebo's progress in Saints camp. And ultimately, we talk about the returning of Kwon Alexander to the chagrin of one Kendall Donaldson, who was brought over from Green Bay, who was mostly going to be used as a special teams guy, and moving a special teams practice squad guy out for a starter is a good move on any book. So big ups to the great Saint Think Tank and the Black and Gold Nation. What's up, brother Prime, and the rest of the family members? How y'all doing, man? Appreciate y'all being in the stream as well on this one. What's up, brother Matthew, as well? Big ups to the family members. Appreciate y'all. Matthew said, was he just saying in an interview that sometimes it's better to throw the ball away than to take a sack? Yeah, if you talk about Jameis, man, that's something that they have been speaking about, to be honest with you. All right, Ben on B says, Big Q, boy, them Bucks dudes are delusional, unique people. When the Goodell served up a Super Bowl, now they got all the answers. Listen, bro, they in 13 years of playoff regular season debauchery and losing seasons, you know, that'll be enough to drive anybody insane. Could you imagine? You know, if you know, it's just not a good thing, you know. But, you know, like I said, man, they drinking the Kool-Aid right now, and they got the trophy. You know, they got the trophy right now, and we got to take that thing back, man. And that's what it comes down to. Only one way to shut them up, and that's to win. You know, and that's the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to do what we do, fam. You know, Robert says Jawan Johnson is Sean Payton project. Yeah, they kind of they can use him as a wide receiver and tight end. That's that versatility thing we talked about with the black and gold. You know what I mean? You know, we do what we do. 504 Cole said, Big Q, when Jameis beats out Taysom, do you think Taysom will be disgruntled? No, I don't think he'll be disgruntled. That's not even his character type, bro, to be honest with you. Taysom Hill is a team-first guy. Taysom Hill will tell you, yeah, I won't be a quarterback, but if it does, he will be a quarterback, just not a full-time one. I mean, he just doesn't have enough experience in my book. And some of the things that he has to overcome as a quarterback are some pretty big ones. And that's not something you get, you know, practicing away from the game. You have to get real game reps, live game action to improve upon some of the things that he needs to improve upon. Pocket awareness, that sort of stuff. You know, maybe he can work on the accuracy to a degree, you know, off field, you know, out of main field action, but that clock, having that clock in your head and stuff like that. That's just stuff like that I see that you have to have in live game action. So it's interesting, man, to say the least, man, really interesting. But if he could put it together, I mean, if Taysom Hill, I've said this before, if Taysom Hill can take what he learned from being a wide receiver, running back, tight end, and special teams player, or even just keep it to the offense, and you use all of those things that are quarterback positions and factor the vantage point of those positions into your quarterback play to understand, okay, I was a receiver, I did this, that, and the third, and I understand routes. If he can factor that into his QB play, that will give him a boost tonight. You know what I'm saying? But he still also has to work on the clock, the check downs, understanding to throw the ball away, knowing. And then one of the things is become a slider and not. Because Taysom, that's the thing when you switching back between positions. Are you cognizant enough to realize that when you back there and you snap the ball and you the quarterback and you hiking back, you don't see nobody, and you take off with the ball, are you aware enough to know to slide as opposed to lower your shoulder on the cornerback? And try to run over him? You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, you got, there's certain things that I know that he will have to get used to in the game. So, I think Taysom is intelligent, man. One of the most intelligent people we got on this team. For him to play all those different positions and have not just some success, but really was beating guys that were playing the position or was drafted to do what they're doing for the Saints. And he was outplaying them, and he was a backup quarterback. That says a lot. You know what I'm saying? It says a lot about what he was doing. So, you know, I don't think he gets disgruntled, my friend. I don't think he gets disgruntled, Matt. I just think that Taysom will say, okay, whatever role you want me to do, let's do it. I just want to win and help the team. And that's always been his message. He is not the type to get disgruntled and go sulking somewhere. Because Coach Payton will find a role or roles or role or 2 or 3 or 4 for Taysom Hill in the system, especially with Mike down and Deontay missing some time. Oh, no doubt about it. Coach Payton already looking at that. There are people saying we need wide receivers, Q. We need wide receiver. Coach Payton go get a possession special team wide receiver named Chris Hogan or Progan. That's what they call him, nickname Progan, to come on the team and help out. Why you didn't go trade for with this, that? Because I told y'all, He's high on his wide receiver room. Plus, he got guys that can play the wide receiver position that are not wide receivers. We are versatile. You know, you can pull from there, here, there, and play. And I told you that before they start doing the Ty Montgomery stuff, because I understand that's why Coach Payton does have versatilities everywhere. That's why he got offensive linemen that can play guard and tackle positions, or guard and center positions, and tackles that can play guards, or tackles that can play both sides, guards that can play both sides, guards that can play center. He does that because, you know, it shortens the spots of having 5-on-5 to have 5 backup offensive linemen for 5 starters. No, he can have 4 and open that spot up for another wide receiver, another defensive back, another defensive lineman. You see what I'm saying? So the versatility plays a great role in how Coach Payton shifts this team. That's why wide receivers that are versatile are guys that play special teams, who are good at special teams, but are also good at wherever position they come from, can have a role on the team. You know, this is facts. Case in point, Alex Armah, who's the fullback from the Carolina Panthers, who the Saints picked up, can play fullback, he can play tight end, he can be an H-back, and he's a hell of a special teams guy. You see? Versatility is big on the Saints' radar, because if injuries occur, I can use this guy as opposed to go run to the waiver wire and find somebody. I mean, this is how this is how we've been winning. This is why we were 8-1 without Drew Brees, almost 9. Well, just being honest, we almost 9-0 without Drew. But this is the thing. That's why we're so good at it, because the versatility, they just don't understand. They don't understand. That's a major part of it. The Saints do a phenomenal job of finding talent, and not only that, but the coaches get them on code on what the Saints need them to do and get them to buy into the role to be team players and do this. And that's why you see these guys step up and up and up and up and up. So for people that's having these faith issues and saying this, that, and third, listen, you must have been paying attention to the Saints for these years, because the Saints don't just rely on the starters, they rely on the depth. And when guys were going down, it don't matter who you are. I'm just speaking of facts. This is a point of facts. When Drew Brees first ballot Hall of Famer, most teams struggle when they lose their starting quarterback, because the backup comes in and is limited. He can't do nothing. And they don't win half the games. This is fact. Drew Brees leads Saints are 8-1, almost 9-0 without him. Why? Because the Saints know they have depth that can pick up. When Alvin Kamara missed games, who stepped up and played high ball? Latavius stepped in there and handled business while Kamara. I mean, you lose Kamara. That's one of your best. We talking top 3, top 5 best players you're losing here, and you still winning games. You lose Drew Brees, the Hall of Famer, for 9 contests. You're 8-1, almost 9-0. You lose Alvin Kamara and still win games. You're losing Mike Thomas and you still winning games. Stop me if I'm wrong here. How are you doing this, Saints? How are you losing your 3 or 4, 5, 6 best guys and still winning games? They'll never give you that credit. They'll never talk about it like that, because they don't know what the hell they're talking about most of the times, or they don't have no faith in the team. Sometimes it takes you having a little imagination. Sometimes logic is cool, but logic by itself ain't shit. It's only half the story. Do not factor in just logic alone. It goes, you put logic and imagination together and balances things. You just can't go live on a world of logic that boxes you in, because whatever logic you getting, you more than likely got it from some rigid asshole who don't know what he's talking about. Well, that ain't logical. So yeah, but you don't have no imagination. You don't know how things work. And well, that's the things of the kids. You are no imagination, man. It's not. Everything come out the imagination of your mind. Everything that you have. Everything, the damn screen you watching with somebody's imagination. I'm going to do this and make a thing where people can do. Come on. Your phone, everything's born out of imagination. But it takes imagination and logic and other things to see a full picture of what's actually going on. A lot of times, most of these people out here are rigid. They don't have no imagination. So how are you going to talk to me about things that are born out of the imagination, that come out of the imagination, and you don't have no imagination, or you're not using yours to see what's going on with the team? Depth is a real thing, and it's a serious thing, and it's not just something that just happens out of just happenstance. It just popped up. No, none of that occurs. Everything is planned and calculated, because we imagine injuries happen, and we think about it and say, well, if this person goes down, we got this guy to come in. You know, and it's just what it is. That's why you load up on running backs. That's why Devonta Freeman's here. I mean, come on, he's your 3rd running back. What you got him there for, Q? What you think? What you think? I mean, come on, man. It's born out of it. Everything. It's not just happenstance. Things just don't occur. It is a reason and a cause for everything. But it takes more than logic to see the full picture. You got to put the imagination with it to balance. They go together. not apart, and they don't rival each other. Sometimes people like to make them go at each other because most of the time people over here have too much imagination, not enough logic, and vice versa. Sometimes you got to put them together to get the picture. So that's why I be saying that's the problem with a lot of these cookie cutter network people, because they tell you we want you to do this and you too busy reading off of teleprompters. They don't take what the hell? What the hell? You reading off of teleprompters, man. You got a fact sheet that you read. Oh, he got 70% of his passes. Like, man, you see Matt Kellerman threw that up there? Thank you, Prom. Appreciate you, bro. Madge says, I've been telling my students being versatile, your job makes it hard for them to fire you. Even that is an excellent point. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's all about that. You have to be versatile. And knowing what you're doing, it's a part of the process of success, family. You know, you become more valuable that way, even in the business world. A guy that can do multiple things is somebody that people count on. Because if something happens to this other guy, they know that they can rely on him to do that other guy's job, or either train other guy to do that job. Having a versatile force around you makes you more effective, more impactful. This is just common information when it comes down to the success doctrine. So with that being said, fam, I ain't gonna hold y'all too long. I ain't gonna sit here lecturing y'all about success and all that. Y'all already know most of this stuff as well. So I'm gonna ask a few more questions or comments and I'm gonna ease out on there. Tim says those Bucks on the round table wanted Big Q to pick them. Yeah, they're like, what I look like as a Saints man, true and true. Like, you can't believe that. Hell yeah, I believe that. I believe the Saints are number one. And I told them that. I said, family, listen, man, you know, the Saints, and I hit them with that real. The Saints stumped the Bucks in both seasons, both regular season matchups. Wasn't even close. They decimated and embarrassed the Bucks. They embarrassed them. The first week they were writing it off, and I covered, and we had shows on it on this very channel. I was so just disgusted about the coverage of how the Saints deserved to be praised as they took apart this Tampa Bay team. Then the coverage was disgusting. It was awful, one-sided, and they always talk about them not being biased. And I'm talking about the press, and they were so biased. It was so shameful and disgusting, and I was so proud of the unindependent press. And I mean unindependent, meaning that we're not in a dependent state relying on those bastards. But at the end of the day, I was disgusted and did several shows about that, man, about the bullshit coverage or non-coverage or the spinning that was done about them. Oh, they didn't have enough continuity to be together. And then when week 9 rolled around, we stumped their asses again in their building worse than what we did the first week, and they just kept spinning. They would not give the black and gold credit. Then when the playoffs came, we were beating them and had the momentum, and we're up by 10 points in our own building before all that bull crap started happening. And the Saints turned the ball over 4 times, and I'm still upset about that, because that don't even make any sense to me, that you would turn the ball over 4 times in your own building and lose. It was just distasteful. It was terrible. It was awful. It stunk. It was garbage. It was terrible. It's just all kind of it was awful. You know, and I gave them their credit. I was like, y'all took advantage. We turned the ball over, and y'all took it and scored some touchdowns with it. So, yeah, you took it and did what you had to do, you know, at the end of the day. But my point was, it took us doing that. You didn't come out and dominate the game. You see what I'm saying? And you're like, okay, well, we beat you. We beat the bully. Well, listen, fam. You know, we ain't looking for no fight. But if you come here talking that smack to us, we gonna put you down. Now we're gonna have to do something to you there. You know, and that's what the Saints did. They handled up. And really, when we beat the Bucks the second time, that's what galvanized the Saints as a team, because Coach Payton took in there the press clippings about what everybody was picking the Buccaneers to beat the Saints. And Coach Payton's a shrewd dude. He went in there with them press clippings and showed them that, and that electrified that whole team and galvanized the Saints, and they went and started stomping ass all over the place. So, in essence, did they really beat us, or did you beat yourself? That's the question, because you were up by 10. They couldn't beat you unless you gave them a lane to win. Huh? It wasn't like they came out and was just dominating the Saints. That was not the case. The Saints were up with the momentum rolling, and had they keep doing, just run the goddamn ball, you'd have beat that team. But we had to get cutesy like we usually do, and that's when I just be like, listen, ain't no time to get cute in the play. See, I'm about to get all upset. I'm about to get cut up right now. I'm about to get all mad again up in here. You know what I'm saying? But no, credit got to be given, man. I'm a fair dude, I like to say. And I got to give the Tampa Bay people credit. They got the trophy. And it might feel a little sour to the black and gold nation, but listen, fam, we grown-ups here. You know, it is what it is. They got the trophy. You know what I'm saying? They got the trophy. It is what it is. You know, what could we do about it? I can't change the past. But what I can tell you, we can change the future with the present right now. We handle business and do what we're supposed to do, we'll get that trophy. That's the bottom line, and that's what I've been preaching for years, man. So, I mean, it is what it is. But thank you for that, fam. I appreciate y'all being in there, giving the support. They asked me, man, the Panthers and the Buck guys actually say, hey, you by yourself in here? I say, yeah, but I got the whole nation ride with me. So, yeah, so I was like, I ain't nothing without the Who Dat Nation. But Big Low was in there representing his nation, too. So that's good as well. What's up, Kevin? Kevin Connor said I encountered 2 Falcon fans this week. I was actually my son's swimming coach, and I was polite and respectful and stay that way when this guy said we can't win the big game as long as we keep showing. Nah, listen, man. And it's all a part about the change. A lot of people say, Q, he ain't never gonna change. Speaking of Coach Payton, now listen. Last year, didn't you see that? Running the ball. Didn't he run the ball last year? He ran the ball several games last year. Saints put up over 200 yards rushing. Several times last year. Saints had a 7-game rushing performance in the Minnesota game, the Christmas Day game. The Saints, without their entire running back room, put up over 100 yards on the Carolina Panthers at the end of the season. They ain't even had their running backs. Took all they had Ty Montgomery running the ball. He still put up 100 yards. Saints were missing Teron Armstead, and people still put up 100 yards, 200 yards. It was a couple of games where Hurts was starting when they put 200 yards up on people. What does that tell you? That tell you that last year, and of course you talk about attempts, rushing yards, and touchdowns from a franchise perspective were all record-breaking things that occurred with Coach Payton last year. So that shows me to a degree that, and you have to be Stevie Wonder mixed with Clarence Carter, mixed with Ray Charles, not to be able to see how impactful the running attack is. And also those same aforementioned great people that I just mentioned, you would have to be, visibly a handicap not to see that the Saints will use the rushing attack in a similar fashion because nobody could stop them from running the ball. So, I mean, it is what it is, family. So it's to me, and like they were saying, and I was like, man, they don't know. They don't know. And like, oh, I ain't worried about Taysom Hill. Hey, I'm the Saints, man. I'm telling you, you need to be worried. Didn't I tell him that low? Didn't I tell him? I said, listen, man, you better be worried. You better be worried about Tay. And that's like I said, well, Jameis this, Jameis that. And I told him, like I said, man, Jameis Winston didn't come. We didn't bring Jameis Winston to save the Saints. We didn't need a savior. Jameis came, and we have a first ballot Hall of Famer was sitting there. So Jameis was the savior for the Bucs franchise. He is not the savior for the Saints. Jameis came to New Orleans to be saved. And that's a big difference when you come here, and he had to find himself. But even the people that watched him over the years have failed to see his change in his progressions. They can't see it. They think it's just football. It's not. I keep saying it. It's never just football. It's all this. You talk about human beings before you talk about them putting the helmet on and talk about football, man. And when you're a focused person and you got your mind made up and you're ambitious and you focus and you're determined and you got that laser beam concentration, first, which what you're doing, any endeavor that you take on will become successful. Anything that you do with that mentality, you will be successful at, regardless of what it is. But that's why I'm trying to teach people and tell people about the ability of when you focus this thing, great things happen. You move mountains. Literally, ambitious or determined or focused people or, non-focused people are moved aside or used to help the focused person accomplish their mission. This is universal principles I'm telling y'all about. This is the truth. Because they're involved in the critical process. They're using those innate abilities that the Most High, blessed us with to use. That he didn't, that you have that the animals don't have. That's why you got dominion over them. It's just extra stuff, man. That we were taught that we nothing when you really everything. I say this in everything. I tell you about this in everything. Don't I? About them damn buildings over there I talk about. I tell you about all that because it's the same thing, fam. It's the same thing. But anyway, listen, I'm going to stop right there. I appreciate you. What's up, old Henry? What's up, Tyler? Big ups to you, fam. He said Peyton Turner had 2 sacks in his. Yeah, I know he was balling out. Thank you for mentioning him. TJ Scott's, what's up, Jared? Yeah, I know, bro. Jared, yeah, I know. 2 of those turnovers was Jared Cook's stinking ass fault. See, I'm about to get all upset. I'm about to get upset again. But anyway, listen, fam, I appreciate y'all for chiming in the show. If y'all like the stream, please feel free to hit the like button. Please feel free to share the show links in your social media, Reddit, whatever. Reddit loves the Sports Coma, man. They really do. I'd like to give a shout out to the Reddit family, man. Much love to the Reddit family members that chime in on the show, man. They love the hell out the shows, and they give us all kind of love. So big ups. What's up, Clint? I see you, fam. So like I said, if y'all want to help out, share the links as well. I appreciate that. And you can join our Patreon with other family members. The link's in the description section below. Also, you can join and become a YouTube member for the TSC Q&A lives that we do every Tuesday. And, of course, the On Q with Big Q, which I'm working on another show when I'm going to be dropping some heavy stuff for the family members. You can take it, add it into your process. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you how it is. And you take that and do with that information as you will. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. So with that being said, fam, listen, what's up, Muse? Hey, baby, how you doing? Much love to the Queens, man. What's up, T? Say the way Winston talks and carry. Okay, yeah, it's different. They don't see it though, because in order to see that, you got to have the ability to understand that people can change. You know, like, oh, people don't change. No, it's not true. That's not true. It's all it is a swing. It's breaking routine. You know, breaking that routine. Like, man, I'm sick of not getting success. And I could tell you this all day, but you got to get fed up with not being successful. I had this talk earlier about people telling me you have to get fed up with not getting what you want or being successful for you to get pissed off enough to break it away. Because it takes a degree of difficulty to break away from a routine or a habit. The mind gets used to it, and then it grasps that thing as its own. But it takes a degree to break it. That's why it's called breaking it, because you got to literally snap it to get it away from you. But you have to have a certain amount of mental passion or some kind of emotion that's strong enough, that's stronger than the habit. That's what it's all about. It's whichever thought is stronger would dominate. So if you have a dysfunctional, like, okay, I'm a lazy person, I don't like to do whatever. Unless you say, well, I'm gonna stop being that way, I'm gonna be a productive person. And you start speaking it and then walking behind your words. Then that creates a force that's stronger than the old habit, creating the breakage. Then you become this. And I keep saying this, how do you learn that? That man learned that, and Drew Brees gave him the game on how to do that. That's why he comes to tears when he thinks about Drew, because it's not just football. Drew Brees was dropping game on him from a human level, from a human being level. You know what I'm saying? Not to use David Griffin's verbiage, but as a being, this is real. You know, so, I mean, there are people first before they're football players. Sometimes we forget that, you know, so we just have to remember that, man. It'll give us a grander understanding of these people. You know, so anyway, listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for being with me tonight. How long did I keep you guys? Hoping well, hour and some change. So, I mean, that's not too bad. But remember, I'll be back tomorrow, family, with the TSC TGI Friday show. I'll open up the lines of communication for the family members to chime in, thoughts, concerns, questions as well. And also a programming note that the Pelican Post-Game Report will be on later on after the Sports Coma. So with that being said, listen, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, and y'all keep y'all heads up, and I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. #1 sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies in the vets, players you should look at. It's the Sports Coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game, party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the Sports Coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and even the top-flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us.